All right, so the Arknights Endfield 1.2 broadcast has finished, and Prudwin has gotten their blog post out on everything coming out on it. So I thought we kind of go over it and take a look at everything coming. I was watching it live earlier, and it is looking pretty good for 1.2. Arknights Endfield, while I haven't really streamed much on it, other than when I do the story and maybe some of the new difficulty content, it has been a game that I've been playing daily and have been liking quite a bit. And it's going to continue to be that case for me, as 1.2 is coming for a character I've been kind of waiting on. She kind of gives the vibes of if you played Honkai Star Rail, an Emanator, or I think within Genshin Impact that were they called Archons, like the big leader person of the Wolling area. And so fully expecting her to be very strong. So she'll be the one dropping. Now she's going to be a solo banner. It's not going to be 2 banners during a patch 1.2. Instead, it's just going to be her plus a rerun banner that'll be coming towards the end. So that's both a good and bad thing. I mean, the good thing is for those that are hurting on pulls, maybe it'll give you a little bit more time to kind of save up, as there's only 1 character through this patch. You don't have 2 that you're having to worry about trying to pull on. But the negative is, I mean, less characters coming out, especially if you're a spender. So it's basically just a long patch of, especially if you don't want her, of just a long patch of waiting for the next one. But it is definitely a good time to save if you don't want to pull for her. Now, she is going to be an electric striker unit, and from what I could see, she looks very similar to Levitain, but from the electric side of things. Really cool looking. I mean, she does have the transformation that we saw in the story. One of the things that really made me want to be able to pull her as well. I mean, I just always love to use the characters in the games that are kind of the powerful ones lore-wise. So, like Acheron and Honkai Star Rail, I really, really liked. Being an Emanator, and even though she got power crept eventually, I still continued to just use her non-stop until I eventually quit that game because I just didn't have time for it. But I'm quite excited for her to come out. But yeah, she gives a lot of the Levitain vibes with her, so definitely we'll be pulling for her, and we'll be doing a live stream, hopefully like right when she drops. So it'll be kind of out of my normal time when I stream, because we'll finally be back in the summer past tax season, which I'm really busy on. And so that's going to give me a lot more opportunity to stream outside my normal window like I was doing last year during this time. And so I'll be doing viewer polls as well as my own. And we'll kind of see if I want to go into dupes for her. First off, to see, they didn't really talk about what'll be coming with her on multiple copies, but I very well may go for multiple copies, especially since the other 2 limiteds that'll be in the Lost 50/50s being Rosie, who I don't have, as well as Tong Tong, who's really, really good for my ice team, which I've heavily invested in as well. So I wouldn't mind losing the 50/50 to either of them. And since she will probably be like my main for quite a while as I kind of build up the electric team, having high dupes in her, I think will be really good if they're actually like useful. Like if they're like Honkai Star Rail Acheron level of power, where E2 and Acheron was really, really strong for her. If that's the case with her, I might do that. But we'll kind of have to see. They showcased her weapon, but the other nice thing is we're finally getting our taste of how their reruns will work to a certain extent. I don't know if this will be a continuous thing, but man, we're already rerunning the first 2 characters. Now, they didn't go heavily into the details on how this banner will work, but it's basically going to be a banner where you can only get the 4 characters included in it. So you can only get Pog, Ardelia, Levitain, and Gilberta in this one. I'm going to guess it's kind of like you just pull to 120 and you can get either one of those 4 no matter what. So you're not going to, even if there's no losing a 50/50 in this sense, other than the fact that Pog and Ardelia are standard units, so I would consider them a loss versus a Levitain and Gilberta being a win. And then if at 120, I'm guessing then you can pity any of them that you want. I know this is going to be really good for those that skipped Gilberta. I know when I made my video covering her, I said, always pull for supports. Always pull for the supports. Even if they're not immediately strong right off the bat, they may always have value later. And Gilberta has proven to be that, as she's pretty much the strongest in every team at this point now in the game. So really liking this banner. It's giving everybody the opportunity to get a copy of her who skipped her. Hopefully they didn't throw away all their pulls and are hurting right now. Because I'm going to guess Gilberta will be pretty strong in Zhuang Fangyi's as well. Although I'm kind of still speculating on her team. I mean, it already looks like Perlica is going to be like a mainstay in the team. But I don't really, I think, was it Anta, the one lizard guy, will probably be strong. And then I just need another kind of any support, which could be Gilberta in that case. we'll have to see. I don't really make guide videos for the characters in this game. I just like to kind of talk about them and whether I am planning to pull for them and whatnot. But it looks pretty good overall. So this will make those that missed her quite happy to be able to get her. And then we got the new area. So a whole new area coming out, new content with it. And so basically we're getting almost like with the factory, the new tier 2 stuff. So it's basically, if you remember with the Valley, we had like the tier 2 versions of a lot of the machines. We're basically getting that with all the liquid stuff. So we're getting like, there's like a new toxic waste that's corrosive. So you need to get the new upgraded tier 2 pumps and tier 2 purification nodes. Basically just a bunch of the tier 2 of everything. And then you're going to have a lot of different ways that you can have this new liquid interact with these to make all kinds of other upgraded materials, which does include there being a new gear, which looks to have a new part here. So we'll probably have to grind out. It doesn't show a picture of a component in this, but I'm assuming there's going to be a new component that's tied to this gear. And so when you're reconstructing your factory up, you're going to need to basically build it around not only getting enough stuff to sell and make the wooling currency, but also get as many of the parts needed for making the gear. But I will say the one good thing coming with it, I don't know if it shows it here, we're getting a whole nother right here. Yeah, the remediation station, another outpost, which basically is going to double our income almost, certainly, because right now I have so many materials in when I sell it back that I'm basically bankrupting them every day very easily. So I'm just stockpiling a bunch of materials. With the second outpost, we basically double the amount we'll be able to sell as long as they can go to the same level. And so they'll not only be good in being able to actually sell more, but it'll make it a lot more comfy in buying all the artiface pieces for making gear, as well as buying some other things in the shop, because it's quite tight right now. While you can buy the main gear piece items, it's pretty tight to try and buy anything else out of the shop, like the gifts and that, unless you're like min-maxing how much you get every day. So that'll be really, really nice. Of course, we have the gear. That's the other thing. Making gear, all that eats up a lot of money too. And so you kind of had to balance it right now, which I think will be less of an issue once we get the second area. And it kind of looks like, and this is kind of what I expect. They don't show the stats on the gear, but I'm going to fully expect us to start seeing power creep to a certain extent, because the system to me is really, really good. There's not really an RNG in the sense of trying to get specific stats in the gear. That's hard locked. But instead, you have the RNG, the upgrading the gear, but eventually you just max out the gear. And so in a gacha game, the gacha games that typically have that, instead of you having to just grind out the gear to constantly try and get that perfect RNG on the piece, you instead the pieces just get power crept. And so I fully expect some of these to power creep the current ones, which is completely fine because you just use your old ones until you eventually max these ones. And to me, that's a better grind than what we see with like the Hoyoverse games. So really good to see there. Of course, the protocol pass. Really like the battle pass in this game, having the 2 layers, one of them that you can basically buy infinitely with the in-game currency. And then if you want the extra materials, you can buy the second phase of it. Of course, we have our login rewards. They'll have the starting ones for Zhuang Fangyi's, as well as some polls on the generic banner. Now, they don't give enough details. It is said to be that they say in the details of it that it's completely separate from the normal one. So I'm going to guess the pity for the 80 pulls is completely separate. I don't know if it has its own rule sets. I didn't really go into details on it, other than saying that more will come probably when we get closer to the patch next week. Now I'm going to assume this is not going to be a very good banner to pull on. I mean, if you already have all the characters, of course. I don't think it's going to be like a cost-effective way to get copies of, like, if you skipped Gilberto. Like, I don't think this is going to be a cost-effective way to try and get them versus just pulling for them on their actual banner when it comes out. But it will just be a way for you to get them if you skip them. New Umbral Monument, which is good. Etch Space Salvage. We have some new stuff here. Let me see if it mixes it. Yeah, it's just, this is basically all the events coming out. But there was another one mentioned. I don't know if it says it down here. Upgrades to the protocol pass or the monthly pass. They're adding in sanity tickets Now, I'm not really a fan of the sanity usage permits. Just make that default. You can always just do double the value. I mean, you don't really need these. I don't even really use them anyway, just because if I have time to do the dailies, I just do it multiple times versus using these. I like to just let these stockpile in case I have very short amount of time and I just want to double the value. But realistically, I think it's a stupid currency to have. Just allow it all the time. But I mean, at least I mean, they're giving a little bit more to the monthly pass, and eventually it's going to upgrade from 120 per day to 200, as well as having that. So basically, they just made the pass a little bit better overall, which is pretty good. I think that's trying to make up for probably feedback on the monthly income we have coming in, especially if you're a paying player. Because to me, monthly passes in gacha games are like your default subscription. To me, it's always going to be worth it, even if you to me, it's basically your subscription to play the game. And so good to see that's a little bit better. I'm guessing that's a balance issue that they kind of found based on how much you're getting incoming a month with it. And then we have the future version preview stuff. And so they had some, quality of life that's coming out. I kind of skipped over that. A lot of QLs coming out with this one, as well as ones that'll be eventually coming out. A lot of things to just stop needing the multiple clickings. Like now you can bulk create gear and assemble it. Advanced progression selection crates. I think this was the one where you can just, when you need the items from the crates, you can just open them on the spot versus having to go all the way back to the menu, go to the crate, opening it and saying, I need 16, opening 16 of them and then going back. Instead, I think you can just open them right on the spot. That's what it looked like they showed. You can claim rewards directly. You can filter over the delivery jobs. That was kind of annoying, having to just try and dig out and find wooling ones. You have some new timers for the people that really like to speed run them and kind of set their own records on it. New ways to see conduits and stuff on the map. More optimizations to blueprints. But the future stuff they were talking about, some of the bigger ones that I'm really looking forward to. You have the bulk artifacing for gear, so no more having to just keep clicking over and over and over. You can just highlight all of them and bulk it. Now, I will say, maybe this won't be as much of an issue now that we're going to have a second outpost and the currency will be hopefully not as much of a problem. But I tend to not, I'll build a bunch of the pieces, but I don't build as many as I need because I don't want to build too many. And if you get lucky on the artifacing and you I've had pieces where I got them fully max, going from no improvements all the way to max improvement in 5 pieces. So I don't like to buy out how much I would need if I don't get any luck, because then I'm just wasting resources. So while this will be nice, I don't see it being, I mean, you can be able to bulk it maybe initially, but to save resources, you're still not going to want to bulk make all the pieces right off the bat. I don't think they mentioned that you could have it make the pieces in Artiface together. I think you have to have the pieces already, because that's what I want. I want to be able to say, hey, let's make an attempt and make the piece as I'm artifacing versus having to make a bunch of the pieces and then going to the artifacing. And that's just so I can min-max the resources. It's not going to, I don't see it being as much of an issue though once we get the next outpost. This one's huge, because I know I've screwed up on this a couple times, but perfect match essences will be auto-locked. So when you're farming for the essences in trying to get them out, you basically have to look in and see their stats. But now you're going to be able to select the specific ones that you're targeting, and then it will auto-lock them. So if you get them, it will auto-lock them. So you can just... So this I think will be good if you just don't want to use your sheets. You're maybe just grinding for an off piece once you have nothing better to farm for, which is kind of what I do right now. That if it would just auto lock for random 5 stars or whatever that I have, that's going to be very, very nice. So you don't accidentally miss the fact that you got a good piece. New recommended mission tag. That's pretty good. Key mission entry points now added to the main screen. Yeah. Device switching. I mean, some of these other things aren't too big of a deal. Backup power feature. This one's going to be massive, because it was always annoying with the factory. Every new patch, and we've seen this with, 1.1 is the first new patch, but this is going to be the case for every new patch. They're going to add all these new factory pieces, upgrades, and stuff that you're going to need to farm. And so you're going to have to reallocate everything within your factory to min-max the use of these resources to get the parts and components for making your gear, as well as making the stuff that you need to sell. And for me, that's pretty much a complete teardown and rebuild. And battery power is always the problem because then you have no batteries being made and power coming in. So with this, you can give yourself infinite power for a limited time. So especially for like me, I don't have time to really build the factories myself. I'll do the initial stuff for the story and all that, but then I just watch somebody else that has a lot more time on their hands to min-max it, that builds some blueprints. Now I can just turn on this infinite power and go into the YouTube video and just copy and paste their blueprints in and not have to worry about throwing a little battery, not battery producer, but an area to put batteries in to get the power to make it run or start up. This just means you get everything put together and it's just going to start running because you have infinite power for a temporary amount of time. That'll be really, really useful because that's going to be a problem. That was going to be a problem. Every single new patch is needing to rebuild your factory. And then, yeah, so the pylons and stuff within the factory can now connect to the ones outside of it. This is just a little bit of a power saver. To me, not that big a deal. I haven't really had power issues once I get everything up and running. But it can be useful in the initial starting when you have a little bit more limited power. They then tease the future operators here. We have Mifu. Then we have Camille, I believe was the name of him. And then, I'm not recognizing her. I was thinking the other girl we saw in the valley was going to be one coming out. I don't really know her name. You can let me know in the comments. I think I've seen it talked about in the name, that there's the names that have been leaked out there. But definitely can't wait to get Mifu. I don't know if they're going to come out in this order or if it's going to be a different order. Right now, I mean, we just only are getting the one new unit. And I'm hoping Mifu's the next one. We'll have to see. I will definitely be pulling for the waifus, although he looks pretty cool too. We'll have to see what team he fits in, but I'm more focused on the waifu teams in this game. But if he works really well with one of them, I will pull for him as well. And we'll just have to kind of see how it works out. But that's everything coming. Really excited for 1.2. Finally getting the main character I've been waiting for in the game that I will probably... Like, I've heavily invested in the Ice team now because I got lucky with Yvonne. But now she's going to be the one that I'm going to dump tons of pulls in and try and make super strong. I always like the lower, powerful characters. So we'll just have to see how that works out. For now, we'll be getting the electric team up and running. But that's it for now. That's everything that was coming out for 1.2. And if you like my content, if you like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.